The following production is brought to you by the Talkin' Buds Leaf Show.
Talkin' Buds Leaf Show, Game 2 in the books. Everything that could go wrong in Game 1 went wrong, and everything that could go right in Game 2 went right.
Yeah, it was a must-win, and they got it done.
They got it done in emphatic fashion. Just a receipt, a blowout receipt is what I would call that win.
Started on time.
Yes, started like under a minute into the game. How quickly into the game was that Marner goal? That was
Less than a minute.
Yeah, first shot on net.
Capitalized on a power play.
When you look at it, like I want to pull this from Luke Fox on Twitter. Leafs core 5 in Game 2. Morgan Rielly, 4 assists. John Tavares, 3 goals. Mitch Marner, 2 goals, 1 assist. Austin Matthews, 2 assists. William Nylander, 1 goal, 1 assist.
That's all we've been asking for.
That is the recipe for success.
That's all we've been asking for from this core. We keep hammering it home every single year. We need them to show up in the playoffs, and tonight they showed up. Hopefully they didn't, I was about to say something very inappropriate, but hopefully they didn't spend it all in one night.
Yes.
So
I don't think so.
let's keep the production going, but hey, this is how you win in the playoffs. Your best players need to be your best players. Some nights your depth needs to outplay the other depth, and tonight the Leafs' best players were the best players, and they won the hockey game.
I also think like part of these two losses, like not to take away from the Lightning win or the Leaf win, but I do think part of each was the other team being bad. Like the Lightning were bad. Like they're banged up on the back end.
They're banged up badly. Like when you're missing your 2 best defensemen, like it's going to be tough to win hockey games and not like they just looked gassed. Like that third period, like it was just a parade to the penalty box for them, and yeah, just kind of the same night for both teams. Like both awful nights for both teams, Game 1 and 2. So let's see what happens when we go to Tampa.
All the more reason to capitalize though when your opponent is down. You gotta hold them down, put your foot on their throat, as they say, and that's what they did tonight. When I look at those stats that I just read out, the one that jumps out to me as being super important is the Morgan Rielly 4 assists. He was a huge topic of discussion on the pod and on other shows all year, and he's a part of their core. He is
their highest paid defenseman.
He's the highest paid defenseman, and he needs to be. He's at his best. I called him a riverboat gambler all year. He's at his best when he's contributing offensively like that, and he was everywhere tonight. And to me, that's what jumps out the most to me. If Morgan Rielly is going to produce and be as impactful going forward, I like the Leafs' chances.
Well, he has to produce for him to be impactful because that's just the type of player he is. And when he's not producing, then you start kind of looking at the minute details of his game that you're not super stoked about, but He as someone who you were looking at in the lineup who needed to come in, have a good game. You're the highest paid defenseman. Technically, on paper, you're supposed to be the second best defenseman in the series other than Edmund, who's now injured. And you come out and have a game like that. That's especially with the Leafs D-core not being the most offensive D-core in the league. Having your best defenseman come out and get 4 assists in Game 2 and establish himself in this series, like, can't ask for anything more than that.
So right off the bat, watching this game, you looked at me and you said, this decision to move, you are bought in to Ryan O'Reilly, third line center.
Yeah, we had this debate when all the lineup shuffling was going on. And during the regular season, I admit that I did like him on that second line loaded up for sure, because I kind of looked at who he could have on his wing if he was on the third line. Like him playing with Alex Kerfoot and somebody else didn't really get me too excited, but I don't know. You put Matthew Knies in there, who also isn't the fastest skater in the world, but is pretty elite below the goal line. Acciari was forechecking like crazy tonight, and it really did fill out that line quite nicely, especially after that game one where the depth just looked atrocious, like god awful. So having that line filled out and watching them tonight, it did make a big difference. And I'm definitely more bought in on him being a centerpiece of that line. It gives them a different look. It's the reason why you got him in the first place, to add to the center depth and just have more lines that could do more damage. So I'm bought in. He needs to stay there. He's probably going to stay there. And that's that, man.
I, my friend, am completely bought in on Matthew Knies. I thought he did not look out of place at all tonight, and I think putting him with the two veteran guys on the third line is only going to help elevate him further. You won't find any bigger fan of Ryan O'Reilly and Noel Acciari than me. So it's great decision. You know, I harped on Sheldon. A lot of people harped on Sheldon after game one, and that was a smart move, putting that line together. And it does spread the wealth out. Like, you made the comment about, like, also how responsible defensively Ryan O'Reilly is. And
well, yeah, it's just like when he's out there, it just makes you feel more comfortable in the D zone, other than like Acciari centering the third line is a lot to ask for him to do. Like, he's not a third line center. He can play third line wing. I saw it tonight, but also that line looks better because the Tavares line looked better. Like, the reason why you threw O'Reilly on that line is because you didn't love the Nylander-Tavares combination. But when that line is going and moving, and then the third line's contributing, it just looks even better. It looks deeper. It looks better, and all around. And with Matt Knies, he took 2 penalties tonight. What I've seen from him so far in his career early is he's not fleet of foot. But this guy, you watch him, and if all of us know hockey, you can see the hands on him. You know, you can see him below the goal line making plays. The way he can drive the
poise,
net.
the poise for me. Yeah, like the hands are the skill part, but it's the fact that, like, he's as green as it gets at the NHL level, and he doesn't look intimidated out there. That's what I like the most about him. He's got a lot of poise and maturity for a young kid.
Yeah, he's gotta just, I don't know if he's gonna do it in the near future, but heading into next season, if he's going to be on this team, he's got to go see
he's going to go see Barb Underhill.
He needs to go see a skating coach, because he's not exactly the fastest skater I've ever seen in my entire life.
That's fine, though. He's going to go see Barb Underhill, and they're going to get that sorted out. Huge question going into this game. Elias Samsonoff, right off the bat, made a couple of big saves, 21 save night. It's pretty all year. After a bad performance, he would bounce back, and he did that again tonight. And when I sat down to watch tonight's game, he was the guy that I was like, God, if Elias Samsonoff goes out tonight and does not play well, we're in big trouble. And he was excellent.
Yeah, would you call it? Did we overreact? Did we have a mini panic? Like, I think everybody freaked out for sure. But
listen, I'm not. I and you at home who felt the same way, I'm not going to apologize for that. The baggage that we've carried with us as a fan base for everything we've seen over the last few years.
It's almost not even his fault.
No, it's not.
Yeah.
It's why everyone, I don't want to say overreact, why everyone's had a strong reaction to the game one loss is because of the baggage that this organization and we as a fan base are carrying around. So we had some people comment on the last video saying that they didn't think that he had that bad of a game and that the defensive coverage in front of him was horrible, and that's a valid point. But anyways, moving on to tonight, I thought it was he just looked way more comfortable. He wasn't swimming around. He wasn't getting caught out of position. He bit on the first Tampa goal, but then, like, he didn't seem rattled after he allowed it. He settled back in and made some more nice saves, and that's
he's gonna let in a goal. Like, it's not like we can't overanalyze every goal he lets in. Like, he's gonna let in goals. It's just that first game, he just looked uncomfortable. The whole team looked uncomfortable. I thought tonight they did a great job of not letting him get peppered for 40 shots. I thought he made 3 massive saves on the early Tampa power plays. I thought he made a couple big saves in the second, but other than that, it was nice to have the shots reduced on him, so that way he didn't have to make as many big saves and see a big workload.
John Tavares hat trick.
Yeah, let's see more of it.
Yeah.
Let's see more of it.
I thought he played really well tonight. You know, I thought he's still below the hash marks in the offensive
right
zone.
on
He's
brand
still
for
elite.
us.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's right on brand for everything we've been saying about him. It's just sometimes when he's not scoring and he's lumbering around, you start to get frustrated, but then you give him the puck in a scoring position in the slot around the net. The guy can still bury it better than anybody else in that position. So he did that tonight.
Luke Shen and Tanner Jeannot have a heavyweight tilt at the end of the game.
Tough boys.
Those are two heavyweights in the National Hockey League. I take my hat off to, I don't think he needed to fight there, but Jeannot was really in his grill and wanted to do it, and so he obliged, and it's just such a different feeling when you've got a heavyweight on your team like Luke Shen. Would you say he lost that fight, or I would say it's pretty even? Like they tagged each other.
I think it'd have been a split decision for Jeannot,
yeah.
But he's a tough customer. Shen's a tough customer. I wouldn't say the same for Justin Hall though.
No.
That guy's got the worst pound for pound, the worst fighter in the NHL.
Poor Justin Hall.
Taking an L to the Nuge and then taking an L to Corey Perry. Corey Perry never drops the gloves, and then he just looks at it. He's scrumming with him, and then he just looks in his eyes and he's like, "Oh yeah, you're the guy who got his ass kicked by the Nuge." And he was like, "All right, I'll drop my gloves," and then all turtled.
And then he was jawing at him on the way out, and then the entire building chanting, "Perry sucks." The relationship between Corey Perry and Leaf Nation is a tumultuous one, and Corey Perry is living in our heads rent free. I'll admit it. I hate that guy, but I respect him.
Yeah, but you hate him because he's good.
Yes,
like,
exactly. That's what I mean. I respect him. Yes.
Yeah, like it's not like he's just a worm. Like he's so good. Like he scored again tonight. He's going to get those opportunities every game, and he seems like he does get opportunities every time he plays this team in the playoffs. It's quite unbelievable, actually, how good he is against this team, and it's annoying. But man, he's effective.
Well, and there's also the story about how he wanted to sign here before signing with Montreal, which really makes it adds a layer there that is super interesting. Marner gets 2 goals, and Matthews has yet to score a goal. What is he was kind of around it tonight, but he's still not. He looks like he's fighting it a bit. It's kind of the same thing that we talked about with Matthews all year, in the sense that his 200-foot game is really good. Defensively, he's really good, but he's kind of fighting it offensively. What's he got to do?
I mean, as long as the other guys are contributing,
yeah,
it gives him some wiggle room.
It's not a huge deal. It's just it's bugging him that he's not on the score sheet.
Yeah, and you've seen it in past series with Phil Deneau and other guys. It's when he's considered this team's best player. So the opposition's focus is on shutting him down and checking him as tight as they possibly can. And when they do that, he kind of has a hard time. When you don't give him any time and space, he hasn't found a way to adjust to that in 7 years of being in the postseason. That's kind of the book on him. It's just you just stay right on his ass when he gets the puck. And he's a very hard time fighting for time and space in the playoffs. And it just seems like he gets frustrated and he hasn't found a solution for it. Like you said it while you're watching the game. He just doesn't have that Sid Crosby in him.
Yeah, he's got to. And he might I'm not saying he doesn't have it at all. I'm saying there's
seen it yet.
There's another level that he has to get to fight I will not be denied kind of level, right?
Yeah.
So
There's
again,
still time. There's
in
still time
no way am I saying that in a negative sense. I'm saying it's bugging him that everyone else got their cookie tonight and he didn't get his 100%.
Yeah.
So we're heading to Tampa, tied 1-1. I'd be ready Tampa's going to come out, Victor Hedman or no Victor Hedman, they're going to come out ready to go.
Even Chernak.
Yeah.
That's their second best defenseman. Like, what is he going to be back?
Well, he's got a concussion, so you never know.
And it's a shame that, like, we don't root for injuries, but I don't know if you remember this team right here with the banner.
Yeah.
There wouldn't be a banner behind us if it wasn't for injuries.
Yes.
So you got to take what you can get. And if this is a situation, you better take advantage of it. But death, taxes, and game sevens. You know, it's... Well, you got to go to Tampa. You got to win 2 games.
Yep. And just for the start of game 3, I think Tampa's going to come out rocking. I think their building's going to be rocking, and they're going to have to weather the storm early.
Yeah.
They played last year. They played well in Tampa. Like, they had 2 games there, games 3 and 6, even though they ended up losing game 6. That they played well. So they played well there 2 weeks ago. So it's an environment that they should be familiar with, but just like you saw in the third period, once the game was out of reach, Tampa starts getting chippy and they're trying to get in the Leafs' heads. But I do think the thing about this iteration of the Leafs,
it's different.
It's different.
It feels different.
In previous years, you'd be kind of sitting there like, ooh, like, can they handle this? And now it's like, what? Luke Shen is not backing. Acciari's not backing down. Ryan
O'Reilly's presence is just totally different.
Yeah, he's not backing down. Like, none of these guys, like even Giordano tonight dropped the mitts early in the game. Like, it's not.
Yeah, it's not happening.
Yeah, it's not like the physical intimidation is not a factor like it once was.
You know what's going to happen in this series?
What, Ryan?
What happens in every series? They're going to go to an elimination game that they have to win, and then it's just going to come down to them winning that game. Like, going into tonight's game, the vibes were low, but you just like I had a feeling they were going to win tonight. I don't want to. I know hindsight's 2020, but like I had a good feeling they were going to win tonight, and they're going to go to Tampa. I don't know if they're going to win 2 there or they're going to split it 1-1, but this series is going to game 6 and game 7, and we'll see what happens. Like, you know, like hopefully the goaltending's good. Hopefully all the production from the top players continue. But it's just going to come down to them trying to close out a veteran playoff team.
Last thing I wanted to touch on before we get out of here. Mike Bunting gets 3 games for the hit on Chernak. The heel turn of Mike Bunting. This is a guy who last year was pretty, I want to say beloved, but like he was a fan favorite. Like, he brought a style, like a tough to play against style. He was sort of the bargain version of Zach Hyman, and people wanted him to take over that role. And he's from here. He really endeared himself.
He scored over 20 goals, 2 straight seasons. It's also because he contributed. He showed that he could bury the puck playing with top players.
And then this year, down the stretch, it was he kind of struggled down the stretch. It sort of came out that he and Keefe have a long, tumultuous history together. He has a ridiculous relationship with the officials. Like, he is like, the NHL referees make no bones about how much they hate the guy. So the thing that I found really interesting was he gets suspended, and then the reaction from the fans, myself included, was just kind of like, like, are we really, is losing Mike Bunting a huge blow? And honestly, no. And you saw tonight, no. If anything, it kind of like his relationship with the officials was becoming a negative. Like, they're looking to call penalties on this guy, and having him not in there, like, it was putting you at a disadvantage. And now having him not in there, that's sort of not as much of a factor anymore.
Yeah, it seems like ever since it came out that the officials were kind of putting their sights towards Mike Bunting, his like production's fallen off, his game's fallen off, and it was a bit of a sideshow game 1. Like, it was he kind of looks like an idiot out there.
But that seems to be the consensus. Like, I saw a lot of people who were just like, yeah, there was a dumb play that he made, and he like
almost needs a time. Like, he just needs a timeout.
I think 3 games was a bit much, was a bit rich.
Yeah.
But like, I just didn't see anybody too bent out of shape about Mike Bunting being taken out of the lineup. And if this series goes long enough that he ends up coming back, I'm not putting him on. I like Yarncroc up there with Matthews and Marner. Put him on the fourth line.
Yeah.
And Matt Knies ain't coming out.
No.
No way.
Yeah, no way. For me, like, I think everyone has their different reasons, maybe, of why they don't care that Bunting's not in the lineup or why we're not going to miss him. For me, it's just his production has just fallen way off. Like, he hasn't
and it's become this
contributed
kind of
offensively, and now it's just all about.
It's a sideshow.
Every time he's out there, we're watching him to see if he's bugging the referees, if he's trying to dive. It's becoming a distraction. So, see you later, Mike Bunting. 3 games. We'll see what happens when he comes back, because I don't know if he's getting back on that top line. I don't know who's coming out of the lineup. So
I wouldn't put
he's
him
also
back on
been
that
a
top
very
line.
important player for your organization for 2 straight seasons. Like, I'm not going to ignore that either. I think that's a little unfair, but I'm not taking Matt Knies out of the lineup.
Hell no. Hell no. And I don't think Sheldon Keefe is either.
Especially like the way he's sheltered with O'Reilly.
Yes,
Dude, you saw like him and O'Reilly talking on the bench. It's like,
Yeah.
this is the perfect guy to
And
be
Acciari, that's 2 veteran guys
learning
who've
from.
been. Noel Acciari is an ex-Boston Bruin.
Yeah.
Like, perfect position to put the kid in. I gave it to Sheldon after game 1, but I'm gonna tip my cap to him and say that's a good third line. We like that third line.
Zach Aston Reese gets a goal.
Oh, there you go.
Redeems
Yeah.
himself from the brutal giveaway to start game 1.
Yep.
And then they could just come out next game and suck again, and we'll be back here again complaining.
Well,
So
no,
who
there's got to
knows?
be a game coming up that's like a tight checking 2-1 hockey game. This has been blowout for blowout here to start this series, and at some point this is going to settle in, and someone's going to need to win a 2-1, 3-2 hockey game.
Those were 2 straight games where the third period was just
At least this third period was a bit
eye-gouging.
more. At least this third period was a bit more entertaining with the fights and the fans getting kicked out.
oh
Yeah.
man, that third period was like I'm watching a baseball game without the pitch clock. Oh my god, it took forever.
Painful. All right, buddy. We're going to get out of here. We will be back after game 3. I want to say a huge thank you, cheers, hello to all the new subscribers and all the people who commented on the last video. Even if you want to comment and call us pigeons, please comment and call us pigeons. We love every second of it. As I said, we'll be back after game 3 and after every playoff game after that. So if you don't want to miss it, hit the like and subscribe button below. If you're listening to the audio version, leave a little 5-star review and a comment. We got a couple of those on Apple Podcasts. Appreciate that as well.
Spread the word. Tell your friends.
Really appreciate it. We'll see you guys after game 3.